Well, I guess we're going to start off with the quarterback situation. We're going Baker Mayfield versus the Denver Broncos or Brock Purdy versus the Los Angeles Rams. One is the quarterback, one in fantasy right now. Who would have thunk it? Um, Not us, because we're idiots. And Brock Purdy is the quarterback 18 right now. He's going against the Rams. So I'm going to lead this off with you because I don't want to get the heat because I know you're a big Purdy guy. Where are we going here? Purdy or Baker? I don't know. It's so funny.
This, as we like to have dubbed, this is the YouTube comment special. Apparently, we got a lot of flack about Purdy and Mayfield in our past. Um, I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield, the tried and true QB1. Like, you can't go against that. I don't know how you can. And they're going against the Broncos. So the Broncos aren't the best team. It is what it is. I'm just going to say it. Like,
Well,
and Brock Purdy's also missing Deebo Samuel this week. Brandon Ayuk
okay.
has not shown up to play actual football yet. You got Jordan Mason, who is a running back. He's not a pass catching back like CMC is. So his weapons are a lot more limited, whereas Baker still has Mike Evans. He has Chris Godwin. He's got Rashad White. He's got Bucky Irving. He's got a lot of options out there that are legitimate threats that are showing up that are playing football today.
Who was
So
limited? You said I'm not joking. This is not a joke. Who's limited? Purdy.
Purdy doesn't have as many options as I think Mayfield
Okay,
has.
so he's the Michael Pittman of quarterbacks, you would say. Mayfield is tied with the lead league of passing touchdowns with 5 with Derek Carr. So the NFC South is dominating through the air. So that's a huge thing. I think Baker also has 1 touchdown on the ground. We saw the scrambling abilities. Purdy has that. He just doesn't do it. Purdy hasn't reached over 15 rushing yards all season in a game, 11 and 12 from week 1 and week 2. Not really much of a huge rushing upside, whereas Baker can get out of the pocket and make some moves as he does do, as he's a playmaker. Um, my biggest thing is they're going against Denver, and you can say they're not good. You can say they're bad. I understand. But they held Geno Smith to 171 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. They held Justin Fields to 117 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. The leading receiver for those teams, DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 29 yards. George Pickens, 2 catches, 29 yards. That may be a Pat Surtain situation more than an overall Denver Broncos defense. But I would keep that in mind when starting Baker this week because we've seen Mike Evans get shut down by dominant cornerbacks in the past, like Marshawn Lattimore. He gets frustrated easily. And if Baker can't get him the ball downfield because he's being covered, that leaves underneath passes to Chris Godwin and the rookies, and of course, Bucky Irvin and Rashad White, if Rashad White's good to go. That might limit Baker's upside there. So I'm kind of worried on that front if Mike Evans does get shut down. And that's a big concern of mine, at least.
Yeah, but you can't only bracket Mike Evans though. That's the thing. So like if you do cover Mike Evans more, you still have Chris Godwin, like you said. You still have the other options out there. And then they have to switch the field to Chris Godwin, which then opens up Mike Evans. So it's
I understand that, and I definitely do. I'm not laughing at you. It's just like apparently my camera's from the 1990s, which is my audio the same as that as the 90s as
no,
well?
your audio is fine.
All right, cool. Well, I see these commercials on YouTube saying that StreamYard can edit it afterwards, so we're good to go, guys. StreamYard could take it out. That's what I saw in the commercials. But back to my whole point about Baker Mayfield, he is going to be limited if Mike Evans is limited. That's his whole game. Chris Godwin's not going to take over and score 100 or receive 120 yards and 2 touchdowns like Big Mike can do. Chris Godwin's more of a 8 catches, 80 yards. Hopefully he gets a touchdown. Now this year, Chris Godwin, and I know we're not debating receivers, has 2 touchdowns on the year. He had 2 touchdowns all of last year, so we can see the focus is going towards Chris Godwin. If that
Hold on,
continues,
let's not trash wide receiver one right now. I
I'm
mean, the
not. No,
Buccaneers
I'm
have
not.
QB1 and wide receiver one on their
No, I'm
team.
not. Really, and I'm not trying to mean this in a demeaning way, but they did play Washington week 1, where Baker threw 4 of his 5 touchdown passes, the same defense that Daniel Jones just ate up. Right? Let's not get it twisted here. I'm not hating on Baker. This is not a Baker bash fest, and I'm not even saying start Brock Purdy. Let's go to Brock Purdy. He leads the NFL in passing yards. He's number 1 in passing yards. He's 18 on fantasy because he only has one passing touchdown. And again, no rushing touchdowns and only 25 yards rushing on the ground. The yardage are there. It's just, is he ever going to get into the end zone? Is he going to have a game where he throws 3 or 4 touchdowns? Is he going to distribute the ball all around the field like he's known to do? His yards per attempt are down just slightly. His yards per attempt, I just said that, yards per attempt are down slightly. His air yards are down slightly. Everything's down slightly, but it's still top 10 material for Brock Purdy and through the air. It's just, can he put it together? He's missing CMC. He's going to miss Debo. This is tough against the Rams. Just for the upside, I think I'm still leaning Baker Mayfield because of the rushing ability, because the playmakers, because he has better offensive pieces around him. It's closer than you guys think. You drafted Purdy above him. You have more stock in Brock Purdy, as you think you should start him because of your draft capital. But at the end of the day, you need to look at Baker Mayfield in the matchup and go, well, it's not as great as we think it is, but hopefully it can be as better as Brock Purdy's. That's why I'm starting Baker Mayfield.
I'm starting Baker. It's honestly, it's no question. Baker is the starter here.
There we go. We agree. Life's better when we agree.
Would you say life is better without Dave? Because he always
life is better if they show and doesn't troll in the comments telling me, yeah, I know Evans had 3 for 42 and Baker still balled. Yeah, because did you see that Baker move? Right? Keep your head on a swivel, freaking looking like Michael Vick out there, scoring that rushing touchdown. That's like an 8-point play. Take those 8 points away. Honestly, that's 8 freaking points to a quarterback. Take that away. What'd he do? I'm not saying Baker's bad, though. And I know people are going to be like, oh, this guy is terrible. He doesn't know what he's talking. No. Let's temper our expectations with Baker. He played a bad Washington team, and he created a lot of plays on the ground with his feet against Detroit, and he did not have a great game against Detroit. He did not. That's just the facts. He only had 1 touchdown. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm starting Baker over Purdy.
Same.
Can we go to the receivers?